Fuad here, back on Behind the Gloves with another interview. I'm joined by the one and only Aqib Fiaz from his back garden, all shiny. How you doing, bro? How's things?
Yeah, all right, man. Just, the same old, getting along with this lockdown and just like everyone else, really, trying to stay positive.
It's such a weird encounter, and I'm sure you've already got like tons of questions, which is the same in terms of what you've been locked down. Like we all have. I've kind of got fed up of that question already now. When people ask me, I'm like, what else am I doing? I'm sat at home. So, but for you, obviously, I've seen people doing your road work here and there. How have you sort of adapted your training regime to this?
Well, obviously, we're not in the gym, we're not sparring and stuff. But apart from that, I'm trying to still stick to, doing a few boxing circuits here and there. I'm still doing pad work with my brother as well, which I've done for years as well. So I'm still running, still doing a bit of weights and stuff here and there. But, you're restricted really because you've not got the equipment, you're not in the gyms, you've not got sparring partners and stuff. So you're just trying to do as best you can, really. It's just the same as everyone else. Everyone's in the same position, really, aren't they? I'm lucky to have a little gym in my back garden. Some people don't even have that. So, you've got to just get along with it and do it, to work with what you've got, I think.
Wasn't too bad for you, though, in terms of you did fight, like, literally in March. So it wasn't exactly terrible, You had your outing. And in reality, for those who didn't fight, so sort of towards the end of this year's season, or if you want to call it, those were probably the more unlucky ones. You got away with that March 7th day.
Yeah, 100%. And if I didn't do that, I'd be sat now scratching my head because I wouldn't have boxed in December. But, so I've spoke to a few of my friends and stuff, and they're not fought since November, October time, and they just sat around waiting. Oh, sorry.
No, sorry, go on.
Yeah, some of them haven't boxed since October, November time, and I feel sorry for them really because I don't know what I'd be doing if I was in that position. Luckily, I had a fight, box where I got the win and stuff, and now obviously it's just waiting now, isn't it? I'm in the same boat as everyone else.
Now, first of all, congratulations because you've signed with Matchroom. Obviously, been following you since the first few fights, and I'm very happy for you to sort of be with a big promotion company. First of all, how did that come about? Because obviously you were on, like I said, the March card was a Matchroom card. It was at Manchester Arena, your first proper big arena fight. How was that, and how did you come about to actually ending up to signing with Matchroom?
I think obviously from there I just impressed on that with my fight and with my performance. Obviously impressed Eddie and stuff, and I think was it the Tuesday or Wednesday after the fight, Jamie rang me saying they want to sign you up and whatever, and I was over the moon really. It was just because like I'll be honest, like before I've always wanted like a chance. I think I was supposed to fight on the Crawler bill as well in November, but I ended up getting an injury, so I didn't have the opportunity to box on that one, and then it was sort of like, right, I need to impress now. And I went on March 7th with the full intention of impressing and hopefully getting signed up. And I did. So, me and Jamie spoke about it beforehand and we said that was the plan. And Jamie said, within 12 months, I want you with a big promoter. And obviously, and now we've done that now. So, now it's about cracking on and get the next chapter of my career now.
It's interesting as well because, like, in Manchester, the big names fighting out of Manchester was Crawler, was Scott Quigg. Both of them are retired now. And now, I see Matchroom signing a couple of Manchester lads, Zelfa Barrett. So now it's pretty much the new wave of the young guns coming through, and it's a chance for you to sort of, not only, obviously you're from Oldham, but to get the whole of like Manchester behind you, that would be something big and end up having a main event in the future.
Yeah, I've grown up like I know, like you mentioned Zelfa Barrett as well. Zelfa Barrett's the same. I used to always see him, like going to the Crawler bills and the Scott Quigg cards and Amir Khan. I've been going there for years, and it's a dream of mine to headline there and top the bill one day, hopefully, and fill the arena out. And I want to be the one to bring big nights back to Manchester. Just and Manchester's boxing city, as you had your Ricky Attons before, obviously your Quiggs and Crawlers, your Ricky Attons, your Jamie Moores, and your Michael Gomez and stuff like that. It's a big boxing city, and all the fans, I think Manchester fans are probably the best in the world, I think, in my opinion. And there's nothing like a Manchester Arena fight night.
So tell me about that night then, because I just missed it. But before I came in, you had your fight. Even though it was still early on the bill, it was something special to box in front of an arena. I mean, it's new because you obviously had the local shows, but to go into an arena, what was the feeling like, you know, you're doing the ring walk, you're looking up and you're like, whoa, what the hell? It's huge.
Well, to be fair, it wasn't that much of a. I didn't really try. I tried to play it down in my mind. It's just a fight, in my opinion. And when you're in the ring, there's a guy in front of you trying to hit you. So you got to be on point. You got to be switched on and focused. And you can't really focus too much on the surroundings and everything, because like they're talking about behind closed doors shows now. And for me, it's all the same. It's just a fight. A fight's a fight. I've had close to 100 now with my amateur and my pro career. So it's one of them. It's just a fight's a fight, and you got to do what you got to do. It's business as usual for me, no matter where it is.
So essentially, because you said you've got you're still training and you've got your little gym. If Eddie rang you up and said, "We got a show in July, would you want to be on it?" Even though you did just fight, would you be ready to take that?
Yeah, of course. Obviously, at this stage of my career as well, it's about staying busy, staying active, and getting as many fights as possible. And I'm sure, hopefully, fingers crossed, they'll be keeping me in mind as well when they're putting these shows together.
Yeah, man, for sure. So one more thing I want to touch on as well. It is Ramadan right now. Both of us are fasting. How are you how do you adapt to training while fasting? I find that interesting because a lot of people, you know, have their own ways of going about it. How do you adapt to it?
I sort of just delay my training before. Usually it's as soon as I wake up, I get my session done, and I'll do again at night. Whereas now it's like I'll wait till about. So when are we eating now? Is it 8:40 something, isn't it?
8:45 it was last night, I think.
Yeah. So I'll train about 7 o'clock. I'll be finished for about 8:30. Have a shower, and it's time to eat then. So I'm all right. So it's not too bad. And then I'll do a little session again at night, just messing about some weights or maybe some running or whatever. But and like you say, we're not fighting anytime soon, obviously. So training hasn't got to be next sort of level. And to be honest with you, I'm quite enjoying the fasting and just being close to God and stuff as well. So it's great for me, really.
Is it me, or you know, when you're fasting, like whenever I've trained during Ramadan, it's always been like I've always felt better in some sense. I've not.
Yeah.
People say, how do you train this hard, or how do you train during Ramadan? I'm like, I don't know. You actually tend to, if you balance it, you tend to feel actually better and lighter because you've not got all the food sort of holding you down from like lunchtime or anything.
For me, like when I train, you get that good feeling, don't you? You get that positive sort of all the endorphins and stuff releasing in your body and whatever. But for me, like when I pray and I'm close to God and stuff like that, I get the same sort of feeling and that same. So it's like a double sort of whammy, isn't it? And you're getting both of them together, and it's just a good feeling. And to be honest with you, it's keeping your mind in a good place as well at a time like this, because it's difficult. It's difficult for everyone.
Yeah, for sure. I just want to touch on something else as well. I saw on Instagram you posted a picture with Carl Frampton and Cool Boy Steph from the US when you were sparring out there. I was in New York in January, and that's the first fight of Stefan's that I got to cover, and he's a good fighter. And I was kind of intrigued to see that you shared rounds with him. How was that like? How was that experience, and how do you rate him as a fighter?
You know what? He's a top fighter. Carl, I remember Carl said he had him over for camps a few fights ago. He's a really talented fighter, and Carl said he's going to be a world champion. He ended up winning a world title. And when we sparred, like, it was just really, really good work. Like, I'm telling you now, like, you would have paid to watch them spars. And we lived together as well in the house as well for a few weeks. We prayed together and stuff as well. He's a great brother, man. I really enjoyed being in his company, and someone of such high level, you know what I mean? And he's a good fighter as well. And I learned quite a lot of things off him.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of took back because I didn't know that you sparred him, and I was like, oh shit, that must have been interesting. I would have wanted to watch that.
First, I'd only watched him spar Carl, and I said to Jamie, like, I'd love to spar him, because he's a very reactive, fast American, fast twitch fighter, and it's just good to get him with different styles for me, because obviously at the early part of your career, you probably won't really come across a style like that, but further down the line, you will do. So for me, it's all about learning and putting all the experiences in the bank for when I'm at that level, hopefully.
For sure. All right. Just lastly, I want to touch on some boxing news that's been going about. Because whenever there's something, whether it's fake news or real news, because there's nothing else going on, we end up talking about it for days. But something that is real news that broke last night was Andy Ruiz joining Team Canelo. So now he's training under Canelo's team. He's left Manny Robles. First of all, that team is crazy. You got Canelo, you got Andy Ruiz, you got Ryan Garcia, you got Frank Sanchez, you got Martinez, the WBC champion. It's a mad team. What do you think of Andy sort of leaving the coach that built him up to the world championship level and joining Canelo's team?
You know what? It's a difficult one because sometimes a fighter won't change his ways,
Mm.
no matter who his trainer is and what camp he's in. But like me, for one, like I'll give you an example. Since I've started training with Jamie and Carl and everyone at our gym and Nigel Travis, I've picked up so much. And obviously, because I'm so young as well, and I started there when I was 18, so just being in there and being in a camp with full of world champions and top fighters, elite level fighters, it's really like, I wouldn't say it rubs off on you, but if you have the right sort of mindset and where you're like a sponge and you just sort of pick up everything they're talking about, not just in the gym, out the gym, I think it could be a really, really good move for him if he like listens and dedicates himself the way he needs to.
Yeah, for sure. Do you still see him as a top contender? Because I know some people, you know, in my opinion, give him disrespect in terms of he got lucky in that fight against Joshua. But I think he's still a threat to a lot of the heavyweights.
Like, in my opinion, Joshua wasn't right that first fight,
Mm.
and I think that's clear to see. In the second fight, he was, but he was saying that Joshua's like an elite level heavyweight, isn't he? You've got the elite level, and you've got the just below. And for me, Andy Ruiz is a contender, like he's a serious contender at the heavyweight division because if you can't underestimate him anyway, because like sometimes looks can be deceiving, and he is definitely one of them.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
really, he's really, really, in my opinion, one of the most dangerous fighters at the heavyweight division because he mixes it up, body and head, throws combination punches, and not many heavyweights do that.
He's a shorter fighter as well. Like a lot of the heavyweights now tend to be like 6'3" onwards. I think he's at like 6'2", 6'2". So he's
Yeah,
a
he's not, not too tall, but and he's fat and like he's overweight, but he's fast, man, and you can't underestimate someone like that. And
no.
he's one of them as well. He's got nothing to lose, so he'll be in some good fights, I think. And I know they were talking about a Dylan White versus him. That'd be a great fight in my
Well,
opinion.
I think if Deontay Wilder doesn't take or something happens with the Tyson Fury fight, because both of them are under the PBC banner, I think Deontay Wilder against Andy Ruiz, it's an interesting fight because you know how Tyson sort of exposed Deontay in terms of if you back him up, he can't let that one shot that he has go. And the one thing that Andy Ruiz is good at is backing people up. So I think it's an interesting matchup, that one.
Yeah, that's a really good fight. And like you say, styles make fights, don't they? For me, since the Fury fight, everyone's saying, "Oh, they want Wilder, they want Wilder." But even still, Wilder's a serious puncher. And in my opinion, probably one of the most dangerous punches the heavyweight division's seen for a long time.
Yeah.
And if he's taken lightly, it could be dangerous.
Well, Frank Warren said that Dubois, should he come through the Joe Joyce fight and maybe have one more, would be ready for Deontay Wilder. Now, I'm a huge Dubois fan. I think he's a great talent. He's very young as well. He's like our age. So, but I don't know. I don't know if he's like. Of course, he's got the skill set to which is very visible. But is he ready for someone like Deontay Wilder?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's about gauging what level he's ready for at the moment, and you'd have to be. I don't know. Frank knows best, and Dubois himself knows best, and I'm sure I've seen him as well come out saying that he'd like that fight. So if he believes he's at that level, then that's up to him. But in my opinion, it could be a bit too soon for him, I think. And if it is, you'd find out on the night when you. Sometimes all it takes is that little difference. If you just waited a couple more fights, and it might go in his favour that way. But sometimes,
Exactly.
if you take a fight too soon, it could be just one fight too early.
He's got years ahead of him as well, so I don't see the rush at all. Like
he's very young, isn't he? What is he, 21, 22 now?
Yeah, 21, 22, so he's still very young. Talking about heavyweights as well, did you see I'm sure you did because it was everywhere, the Mike Tyson hitting the Fads video?
Yeah. You know what? Growing up, Mike Tyson was my inspiration. I used to watch him. I used to have a computer upstairs that I was supposed to do my school homework on. And I used to just watch Mike Tyson all night, man. He was probably one of my favourite fighters. I still watch him now. Just the way, his speed and his head movement and everything. And I was a fat, short kid when I was younger. So I used to copy his head movement and try and get on the inside. And that was me, man. I love Mike Tyson.
It's crazy how people are still like rooting for his comeback. I'm like, let the man live, man. He's smoking, he's having his hotbox sessions. Let him do his thing, because really, he's accomplished he's one of the greatest of all time. He really has no reason to.
Exactly. And look, he retired. What was it now? 10, 15, 20 years ago, probably now, and he still spoke about like one of the greatest. So listen, he's done what he needed to do. You don't need to fight again. Don't need to prove anything to anyone, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you need to fight again soon. Hopefully, we'll be seeing very, very soon, should this COVID thing go away. But anyway, man, I appreciate your time. Any final words for the fans watching?
No, just stay safe, stay home, and we're we're riding this wave together. And I think, in my opinion, we've gone through the most lengthy part of it. There's not long left now, hopefully, fingers crossed, and just stay strong.
Hey Fight fans, it's Michelle Joy Phelps. If you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure you go ahead and do so by clicking this icon right here and hit the bell button so you can get notified every time we upload a new video. And we also have a free app available on iTunes and Google Play, so make sure you go and download that. Bye Fight fans.